Happy holidays, everyone. It's December. We made it to the end of the year, and we have a lot of amazing dinners and special events coming up. And I'm always a big fan of doing something other than turkey and ham and all those things. And I've invited my good friend Michelle over, who is from restaurant royalty in Seattle. Her mother had the very first Vietnamese restaurant in Seattle. Tell us about that.
Well, it is called Vietnamese Dynasty, or Vietnam Dynasty.
Oh,
so.
There you
So
go,
that's
Vietnam
close,
Dynasty.
yeah.
And she had it for like eight or 9 years?
From 1971, when she immigrated to the U.S., to 1979 in the Capitol Hill neighborhood of Seattle.
So many things I love about that. I mean, being an immigrant, working hard, opening a restaurant, and then you grew up getting to, learn about these amazing foods. And tell us about this duck dish that you're going to show us.
In part, I think one of the things that my mom was brilliant at was coming and reframing the Vietnamese context for Americans. 71 was the year she came, and at that time it was broadcast on television as something chaotic, if not traumatic. And so she was able to come and open and operate a restaurant to completely change the frame of which Vietnam could be known for, and that was in part delicious food.
Okay, so let's get started. And the first thing I want to know, though, is do you like all parts of the duck? Do you use the breast?
You can use the whole duck. I tend to like the duck breast. It's a little less gamier than the darker parts of the meat.
Oh, okay.
It tends to absorb the flavor of the marinade and the brine really well, but you can do the same thing to a whole duck as well. So in this case with the duck, we sat it in the brine for about 2 hours. And what the brine does, it's a salt and sugar mixture along with herbs. The salt initially will pull out the moisture in the meat, and then it will sit, it will combine with all the rest of the ingredients and then bring the moisture back into the meat so that you have that flavor. So then we take the duck from the brine, discard the brine, rinse off the duck and pat it dry, and then we submerge the duck into the marinade. And the marinade is the bourbon, maple syrup, orange peel, again the fresh herbs, and garlic.
Ooh, kind of a boozy duck.
Yes, just like I like them. So it's about the layering of the flavors, infusing the meat, layering of the flavors, and having that distinct type of Asian flavor.
So you're going to marinate it for 3 to 4 hours?
Yeah, 3 to 4 hours is pretty standard, or you can marinate it overnight.
What do you do with the yams after this? Or sweet potatoes, same thing?
Sweet potatoes. Well, sweet potatoes and yams
Oh,
are different. Yes. So we want to go for the one with the nice, rich orange color. So you'll see potentially see a variety of sweet potatoes at the grocery store. So now we have sweet potatoes, or yams rather, that are currently baking that we should take out while we get our cast iron pan ready. So we started with the duck, which was brined for about 2 hours. And so what we'll do is that we'll heat up the pan to about a medium, a cast iron skillet. We will place it skin side down first. And that will take about 3 minutes. You can lift it up a little bit, just depending on the smell and where your instincts tell you where it's at, but it's about 3 minutes. You'll then flip it over. You'll cook it for another 3 minutes on the flesh side. And then afterwards, you'll flip it over one more time and it'll go into the oven at 400 for about 5 minutes. Following that, we'll take the duck out. We will put it on a separate surface to rest, where we can also collect the juices. So once we're ready to make the glaze, we'll want to remove any of the marinade that might have stuck on the duck prior to. So that could include herbs, that could include some of the garlic or the ginger. So we want to remove any burnt pieces so that it's a nice clear glaze that we can use on the side of the plate and over the duck. And then we'll whisk in one by one the ingredients following the list. So we have the bourbon, the maple, the orange juice, the sriracha, as well as some of the pho broth will also go in there. And then we'll use the thickener of the organic cornstarch. You'll keep whisking it at about a medium. You'll turn it down a little bit lower. It'll start to thicken a little bit, and then you can turn the oven off when it's your desired consistency. So now we're going to take these beautiful yams, and then we're going to put them in a bowl. You can either put them in a food processor, or you can use a bowl, and I'm going to hand mash them, and that way I can have a little bit more control of the ingredients I incorporate and what kind of consistency that I'm looking for. And I don't necessarily want like a really baby smooth consistency. I want them to have a little bit of texture throughout, and some of the crispy sage that was used on there you'll be able to find. So now we want to cut the duck, and it's important that you don't cut the duck too thin. That it can cool down really quickly, and it's not as delectable as if you have a nice cut forkful of beautiful duck. So you want to cut it, I would say probably, what would you say, ½ inch?
Yeah, okay.
Roughly
half
half inch.
slices.
Half
okay.
inch slices, yes.
Okay.
So one duck will probably render about for 4 to 5 slices.
Okay,
One
great.
duck breast. So what we'll want to do is we'll want to put a large dollop of the sweet potato in the center of the plate, followed by the beautiful slices of duck breast, usually serve 3 to 4 slices per person, and then followed by the glaze that will go on the side of the plate as well as on top of the duck. Here we go. I think we should name it Duck Dynasty now.
This is beautiful, you guys. I can't tell you how beautiful it smells and looks. And to me, I know it was traditionally before the holiday meal because it was easy, but that's exactly what I'm looking for on a Christmas Eve or a Christmas Day when I want to just be with my friends and family and enjoy wine and talk and open gifts and not be in the kitchen slaving. So it's great to have this meal where you can marinate it ahead of time and then put a quick sear on it, mash up those potatoes, yams, and voila. So thank you so much. It's just perfect. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Come on, you.
Oh, fantastic. For the full recipe, head on over to SeattleLuxeHomes.com. And if you're thinking of buying or selling in the new year, give me a call. I'd love to be a part of it. Thank you.
Chuk sukwe.